Credit, especially rural credit, has always been a problem area for Bihar since time immemorial. If you see Arthashastra written 2500 years ago, there also Kautilya spoke about how to provide credit to rural people for agriculture and for sustaining growth at reasonable rates of interest. So the reasonable rate of interest or at affordable capital has remained concern of policymakers since immemorial. If we again come back in some of the recent times, we have got some of the studies by Ramesh Chandra Datta in nearly 1874, B.B. Chaudhary in 1880s, which have demonstrated that in Bihar, the rate of rural credit has always remained between 25 to 37.5%. It has certainly never gone down below 25% in 1880s or 1890s also. When Mr. Metcalfe was Commissioner of Police, Commissioner of Patna Commissionerate in 1875, he worked here for 17 years and has written his memoirs that invariably in every village in Bihar, there was a moneylender. I am quoting all these figures because this problem which we are talking, or the challenge which we are talking, is not new. This has been plaguing our society for so long, and there have been various interventions, of which in form of microfinance as one of the recent ones. So what we have learned and how we can go ahead, that I would like to add my few points on that. Now rural credit has been this issue because we face market imperfections in input market, output market, extension market, credit market, land market. Most of the markets which plug our rural production systems are plagued by this market imperfections, and hence a simple solution cannot, as Vineet rightly pointed out, like microfinance cannot remove all the panacea, or cannot be panacea for all the ills which we are facing our society. So we are faced with a dualism. Dualism exists for our rich clients, for upper segments of people. They have got formal banking structure which has got high protection for consumers and which gives affordable rates. But on the other hand, poor who need it most are paying one of the largest rates of interest. So this issue arises that how we do meet this challenge so that poor also can get benefit of the formal structure, the security of formal structure, and also at the same time have the flexibility of the non-banking financial structures or microfinance or informal structures, as we say it. So if we just, most of the audience I know is well versed and well aware of the issues. So I just like to run through 4 P's of microfinance just as I understand. For channel, you have got a brick and mortar structures in form of physical bank structures, which for many reasons, some say psychological disconnect, some say attitude, some say cumbersome bureaucratic processes, has not been able to reach out to the clientele. On the other hand, we have got the flexibility in form of informal new players who are reaching out to the client and providing them the product they need. Although the product question again arises that we do not have many products which are suitable to the rural communities. I don't know how many products are there for agriculture communities. And especially in Bihar, in north 10 districts where we are facing flood problems. So then from channel we go to product, and from product we go to the price. In price, do we have the same rate of transaction cost in urban and rural areas? Or do we have the same rate of interest charged from people from urban and rural clientele? Or are we cross-subsidizing the benefits which we are earning from the urban clientele to the rural clientele? So these are many issues which we need to address. So ultimately what I propose is that we can have a formal structure linked in the form of having the flexibility of informal structure with the aid of technology, which many of us believe in lies in the form of BC or banking facilitator or standard models for that. So, and since in the morning also there were many, Mr. Verma and Mr. Majay Sinha also spoke about solutions. But many of these solutions are not new. They have been debated in our country for long. Like one of the solutions was co-opting moneylenders in the system. Central Banking Inquiry Committee established in 1999 by British government had established that you opt to bring moneylenders into the system. Although they did not want to give them licenses for doing that. They wanted to bring in the system like in the form of Commodity system practiced in Germany, where the formal banking structures and moneylenders are connected and moneylenders act as agents of bank, giving them the benefit of local knowledge, local situation and local context. Similarly, a market solution cannot remove all the ills of society. We need social strengthening in the forms of social institutions, which I believe in the form of SHG federations are coming all over the country. How do we innovatively engage with them to reach out to the clientele? Thirdly, how do we integrate our finance with the production systems? Rabobank has one of the excellent examples in Netherlands, where they have engaged farmer in the production system, and now they are a AAA bank, much larger, stronger bank than any bank in India at present, only by leveraging the strength of farmers in the country. So how do we learn from them? And secondly, none of the money lenders in India had any way, always only did money lending in villages. Apart from some of the money lenders who were settled in big towns, most of the money lenders were in villages. They cross-subsidize their earning with agriculture also. So if we take an exclusive channel for delivery of financial services, it will certainly become costly. So innovations are being piloted in the country in various parts, which can be learned from and copied. And one of the issues which was raised by many speakers here, I was not very comfortable about. It is being said that we need to promote financial literacy. But financial literacy for whom and in what form? We are here having examples of microfinance institutions. We are lending thousands of crores in Bihar. They are recovering back. So there exists a demand. We cannot say that it does not exist a demand. Thousands of crores have been given and taken. So there exists a demand, and the people are aware enough to make a decision that what is good for them or what is not good for them, to return for them. So this communication, this literacy in form of whom? In the form of bankers or in the client? I think this is the question we need to ponder. Thank you.